Okay, apologies for the delay. It was just for the reason I told you that data usually I put it on drive so that I can access it through different systems. But there was some issue in the drive, so I have to kill it through Task Manager, and then it started. Sorry for that. So in the last lecture, we were going through Docker. Uh, so mainly we are into eighth module where we will be going through the concepts of virtualization, then containers, right? So not only that, virtual data center, virtual clusters, how exactly we can relate clusters with that of cloud. Okay. So in the last session, if you recall, then we have seen as how exactly we can create a container, what are the advantages of a container. So we have gone through the differences, and we have seen that because containers are lightweight in nature, in the sense that they doesn't have any operating system, and we can have the Docker engine or any other setup instead rather than the whole operating system, and that's why the containers are easy to scale. Not only that, but whenever you have to migrate a container from one system to another, so that way also it will be somewhat easy, and you can say lightweight. Okay. So, we have gone through as whenever we are creating a Docker container or specifically a Docker image, then it basically consists of the code, the libraries, the database connection logic, and few other services, right? So, can anybody recall and repeat as what exactly we have gone through uh, in terms of Docker, the various constructs? I'll start with one. We have gone through the concepts of Docker file. Okay, what next? Just a minute, I'll enable the mic. Yeah, Docker Compose. Akhilesh is saying, yeah, so mic is enabled. Docker image, correct, containers. Yeah, so Dockerfile was one. Apart from that, we have seen that Docker image will be there. Perfect. And then we will be having ones that images live, or we can say we are instantiating it. So that way, we will be calling it as container. And one more thing that we have gone through is Docker Hub, right? So we have seen that whenever we will be creating a Docker file, somewhere we will be using a template for a specific project. Say it be if it is Python, say it be if it is some Apache-based project, just like the one displayed over here. And one I have showed you while doing the experimentation through VS Code. So that was in Python. Okay, so we have gone through that, and through this Docker file, ultimately, the Docker engine will utilize the code and create a Docker file. So ultimately, that Docker file will be created, and later on, you will be coming up with the Docker image. So that Docker image is somewhat the whole thing that will help us out in scaling, that help us out in transferring it from one place to another place, right? The best part is once the Docker image is ready, after that you can seamlessly share, and it is very sure that the system will not crash, or not only crash, but the system will be running seamlessly at the other end wherever the system, wherever the file is being loaded as a container. If I'm sharing it with Ravi or any other the Docker file, so you just need the Docker engine, compatible Docker engine, and apparently he can execute it without any library dependency, without any configuration, right? So seamlessly he would be able to execute it. And that's the reason if you see the Docker that I have shown you, the Docker desktop that I have shown you, so that was having the Zookeeper and Apache Kafka, right? So I was needing Zookeeper and Apache Kafka, and correspondingly, what we did is rather than installing it to our system, we use the Docker container corresponding to Zookeeper and Kafka. So that way, we just have to do the port mapping, and beyond that, we don't have to do anything in terms of configuration, in terms of installation. So seamlessly within the programming, I just have to do the port mapping, and through that, uh, we can use the tools just like Zookeeper and Kafka. And this is just an example. I have already shared that you will be having a Docker Hub, and through Docker Hub, you will be able to get lot of tools that you can utilize as a container. So Docker image. So this we have already seen that through file we'll be creating an image, and finally when live it will be called as a container, right? Docker Hub we have seen. This is the basic flow corresponding to the Docker file. When the Docker file will be created, ultimately, based on the Docker file, you will create an image. You can push it to the hub if you feel that the file you have, the image you have created may be useful to some other people as well. Okay, so that way you can put it, push it to the registry, or you can put it to hub. Okay, so here, in terms of AWS, I would like to highlight a few things. So it be in AWS, we are having ECS, ECR, and you can say Fargate. So these are the three terminologies related with AWS. Because registry is being written over here, just I'm correlating the word. So ECR will be responsible for having all the Docker images stored within AWS system. So ECR stands for Elastic Container Registry, right? So this is your Elastic Container Registry. Okay, so what does it mean? Say it be if you have created some image corresponding to some system that you will be utilizing. Okay, it can be some web project that you have created. Okay, and a complete container file is ready corresponding to that. So for utilizing it to your container systems, right? So ECS is your Elastic Container, and Fargate is you can say that it is an automated, or you can see the platform as a service version corresponding to the Elastic Container Systems, right? So we will see further when we'll be experimenting on it. Okay, but for the time being, you can just have an idea that for deployment of these container to Elastic Container, you have to push the Docker image to the registry. right? And later on, when you will be loading that Docker image, so ultimately that will be done through the registry only, right? On the other way, you can use Docker Hub as well, and in a normal way, you can use Docker Hub so that other people can also utilize the image file. The difference will be that in registry, it will be private to you because you are putting it in your own AWS account registry, so that way it will not be public. But if you are putting it into the Docker Hub, so that way it will be public in nature. You can make it public, and other people can also utilize it. A simple example can be, say it be someone from you have created a Python, and with Python you have configured the Flask. This is a framework for web applications. So if you have configured Flask and you think that okay, this can be useful to for many of the users, so you can create an image, you can push it to the Docker Hub so that other people can pull it. Uh, and when in executing environment, it will be created as a container, right? So that will be the main concept. These are just the images corresponding to the demonstration I have given in the last session. So Docker desktop containers. So ultimately the containers will be created and will be running. You can have a look if they are running because they are not running as of now when the image was taken, right? So that's why the CPU percentage is not visible. Rest you can have the port mapping done. Okay. So images, we have seen that ultimately through Docker file, first of all, by Docker command, we will be creating the image. Okay. Then Docker desktop. So these are the images that you can use. Say it be if you would like to use Redis, Python, NGINX, and that's all through Docker containers rather than installing it to your system. So just imagine you have pulled some image, okay? You have executed it to the Docker desktop, okay? Utilizes the functionality, okay? And even after that, your system is unaffected. So this is, you can say, a byproduct. The advantages are many, but the thing is, you are not installing anything, you are not configuring anything, still you will be able to use the system. Okay, so you can just give it a try by using the pull commands so that you will be pulling the images, and apparently once the images are available, basic port mapping excuse me, port mapping will be required, and then we can easily use the Docker container. Okay. Now, if you recall, then in the last session, when we have gone through this Python project where we have created the image. Okay. So, corresponding to that, we'll see. Okay, so normally we have seen that, okay, if we will be loading the file, so directly we have executed the file as of now, and you can see that it is localhost, that is 127.0.0.1, and 8989 is the port number on which it is being executed. And here itself, if I say if I am writing 5000, then also it will not be running. Even if I write 9000, then also it will not be running on the 9000 itself, because both of the ports are not having any application running to respond further. Okay, so what does it mean? That as of now it is running on the local host without any Docker configuration. Okay, but running locally to this particular system. Now, supposedly the way we have done in the last session, so I'll just open the Docker. Okay, so we are having containers, and we can see that, okay, there is one image named as Hello World 1104. Okay, so this we can run from here as well. You can click on the start, and you can see that 9000 and 5000, this mapping is being done. Because when we have created the container, at that time we have executed the command to have the specific mapping. If you recall, then we have executed the command docker run -d -p 9000 colon 5000 and hello world. Okay. When we executed it, then the ports mapping was done. Right now, what exactly is the configuration? I'm not executing it on a local basis, because if you see, then I have terminated this 127.0.0.1/8989. So it will not work on 8989, right? Now we will see what exactly will be the case with 5000. So you can see that 5000 still it's not working. On 9000, if you see, then it will work. Okay. So Akhilesh is having one question. In a production setup, where exactly are Docker images created? Which service do we use? In the project I work, we put the code in EC2, and in EC2 we build the Docker image. So, okay, I'll answer this, Akhilesh. First, we will complete this port mapping, right? So now, just have a look. Means I am able to get things done at 127.0.0.1, but there is a mapping which shows that, okay, there is 9000 and 5000 is the port number. This mapping is being done, but when I'm trying to load the page, and if you see, then on 5000 it is not available. And if I see 127.0.0.1, 5000, it is not available, and not even in 8989, but it is available. Sorry, on 9000 it is available. So what does it mean? What is the inference that we can draw out of this? Yes, anyone, Ravi?
9,000 is the external port, 5,000 is the container port. So it's actually we are doing a port mapping. So 9,000, when we want to access the container application outside of that container environment, then we used to run it on 9,000, but actually in the inside the container, it's running on the 5,000 port.
Yeah, very good. I hope everyone has got the insight as what exactly is happening because an isolated environment is being created. Okay, and you can say that that isolated environment is your container. Okay, the image that you have created and the system corresponding to the Python Flask framework within the container, it is running at port number 5000. So this mapping of 9000 to 5000 that we have done. Okay. So this means that, okay, whatever be the local system, the local system will be using the port number 9000, while the container system or the Docker system that will be using the port number 5000. And whenever a request to this local number will be made, right? Apparently, that will be served by port number 5000 of the Docker container, right? So, say it be if I connect my mobile with the same Wi-Fi and I just give it a try. This is just the basic networking concept. So supposedly, okay, so my wireless LAN adapter, it is giving that, okay, it is 195.168, 1.13 is the IPv4. So supposedly, if I see 192.168.1.13, and if within this I put a port number 9000, right? So I'm getting the same screen. Uh, okay, I'll just share it. Just a minute. Right. This is just to show you the connection as how exactly things are being carried out. Just right. So this is the screenshot I have taken to my mobile and shared to the system. So you can see that the IP that we have checked recently, the IP came out to be 192.168.1.13 and I put the port number 9000. So the way we were doing it on localhost, in the same way, even if I put it on my network, the local network of my system, my home, so that way you can see the page, basic page is loading because that port mapping is clearly being defined where that 9000 port corresponding to the local system, whenever the request will be made, so that request will be served by the Docker container port number 5000. So only this mapping will be required. Apart from this mapping, everything will be configured or will be available. So that's why if you see the Zookeeper, you can see that Kafka and Zookeeper both are being configured. And supposedly in some of my code, if I use, if I would like to have a feature of Kafka or Zookeeper, so because here I have used the same port number, because that was for my internal use. But here you should know the difference, and that's why the ports are being kept different. But you can use same port if the port numbers are available at both of the location. This is one. So just give it a try. Means just have experimentation at your end. There are a lot of things you can do, but just the case is out of the curriculum, we cannot go in much of the depth. But the thing is, you can give it a try, and you can try a lot of things in terms of containers. You can even log into the contain. You can even enter the container file, and in case you would like to do the small changes, then that will also be possible. So changing some file name or so. So that way it can be done by using few commands. So just give it a try. I'm leaving it up to you, but definitely you will find it interesting while working with the containers. Now coming to the question. So, okay, where is the mapping done? Okay, one more. So mapping is done either when you have created the container. So you can see that I think in the last session you might have missed it. So when I have created the container, correspondingly we have executed the command docker run -d -p 9000 5000. 9000 is the local systems port number, 5000 is the containers port number, and then the Docker file. So once this is there, then within your Docker desktop, you will be having this mapping defined. So at a later stage, when you will be running the container, so that port mapping will be used until and unless there is any clash within the port number. So you can see that I have stopped it as of now, and this is defined. The port number is being defined. Okay, and this was an older file with the same port number, but right now the port is not being utilized. So even if I start this one as well, then also it will work. You can see. I- So again, it will work because ultimately the ports were empty, and that's why you can utilize those ports. You can see the details. You can see that what exactly is happening through the logs. So you can see this is a development server. Do not use this in a production or deployment. Use a production WSGI. So what Akhilesh have asked the question. Ultimately, we need to use some WSGI server, say it be NGINX or so that we can connect through it and do the mapping. Okay, we can inspect it as well. So a lot of things we can do through this Docker desktop. Okay, so this is one. And now what Akhilesh has asked, that in production where exactly are Docker images created. So when in production, say it be the example that I have given it to you, if you are utilizing the case of AWS, right? So there you will be pushing it to ECR. I'll try to give an example through the code. Just a minute. Right. So this is okay. Okay, so these are the basic instructions. I will give it to you, but I'm looking for something else. Just a minute. Right, so you can just have a look. So this is something that I have copied when we were deploying it to AWS, right? So just have a look. So just see Docker run, then hyphen IT hyphen P. So hyphen P is for publish, which publishes a container port to the host, right? So that way this port mapping is being done. This is the name of the image file. That is Chirac VJ1 slash bin slash bash, right? So this way you can enter to what I can say the Docker file. Okay, so we can just give it a try as well. Uh, right, so right. Feel free to ask in case you are having any doubt, but I think everything is in flow and I think you would be able to understand. So Docker run hyphen IT hyphen P, I'm just giving it a try that okay, running the command and now you can see that I have entered into the system. And if I run the ls command, then you can just have a look what exactly is within the image file. I hope you got the logic that there is an image file known as hello world 1104, right? Again, port mapping will be required because ultimately, whatever be the request coming to a particular port, say it be port number 9000 to the local system, that will be mapped to the port number 5000 of the container. Okay. And what we did is ultimately slash bin slash bash in the sense that we would like to uh, utilize the bash shell of the container, right? And you can see that we are having all the files that we have created, not only files, but the templates and the whole library you can see whatever be the configuration. So all those will be available. So we can just cat Docker file. So these are the contents of the Docker file, right? So this way you can utilize or you can enter into the container and in case a few changes are required, you can do those changes. Okay. So that was one thing. Apart from that, the core question that how you will be ultimately utilizing it. So there are a few ways, right? So this we have done apt get update and okay, this was the basic installation. Now can excuse me. So these are the steps to connect to AWS. So these keys are not yet useful, but just for your reference. So whenever we have to use the AWS command line interface. So you might be knowing that whenever we are using cloud, so there can be few ways through which we can do the connection. Okay, so One is you can say that, okay, you will be using the management console. Okay. And second one is the command line interface. So management console in the sense that something similar to that of user interface. So you will be having some proper user interface, and based on that user interface, you are utilizing the services. Okay, so people, those who are fond of clicking on the user interface, they will be liking the management console. But at the same time, in industry, we'll be finding people, those who are very well versed with that of command line. So they like the black screen more. And by black screen, I'm saying it a command line. So many of the times, people are there, those who like to work on the command line rather than the UI part. Okay. So that way, uh, command line can be used, and this AWS CLI. So this is to connect to the specific AWS account through CLI, right? So you just have to install the AWS CLI first, and within AWS CLI, say it be again, if I run a command line, and if I type AWS configure, right? So apparently, because I used to connect to the AWS account through CLI, so that's why the keys are already there. And if I would like to provide some another key so as to connect to another account, so that I can provide it over here. And once all the steps are being done, say it be after running the AWS configure command, providing the access key ID, secret key ID, what is the default region in which you would like to log in, and the basic output format. So that is specified as text. Okay. So this way, once it is done, you are connected to the AWS command line interface. Okay. S- Uh, so you are connected to the AWS account through the CLI. Now you can see that AWS ECR, the one I have told you, it is Elastic Container Registry, and create repository. We have defined the repository name. So within the ECR, we are creating a repository known as CherekDT repo, right? So this is basically, you can, this is a command to create ECR repository. So we have created the repository, and after that, this is the output of the describe repository command. Okay. So it tells that when it was created, whether it is mutable or not, and whether encryption is being enabled. If so, then which type of encryption is enabled. So here you can see that AES 256 encryption is there. Okay. Docker images. This is the command so that you can list the various images available, right? So here else also, if you run the command. So if I run that Docker images, so you can see that as of now, these four images are there that are there at the desktop as well. The Docker desktop also you will be able to see this, but here also you can see that these four images are available. So we just have executed that command so that we can know as what are the various images available. Okay. Now you just see that what is being done. Docker tag, uh, this specific tag is being given corresponding to the repository that was being created, right? So just see that we have established a connection, or rather we can say we have established a mapping. This image ID corresponding to the repository that we would like to push to the ECR. Okay, so you can see that, okay, Docker tag, this image ID is there. And finally, this is the repository. You can check that, okay, this repository is 504 DKR. So this is the repository that we have got already from the describe command. So once we run AWS ECR describe repository, you will be getting the repository endpoint. So these are called as endpoints. Right. So what I mean to say is, through this, you will be pushing it to the Docker repository. Now the connection is being established, or mapping is being established, that we would like to have a mapping of this Docker image file with that of this repository. After that, we do the basic Docker login. We will use the basic Docker login command, and then you can see that mapping is being done. ECR get login password, Docker login. And so this way we are just connecting that whenever a push command will be issued, so the Docker will be having all the rights to push it to AWS repository, right? So that mapping is being done over here. And finally, you can see that Docker push command is being executed. And here we haven't provided anything. Just have a correlation that we only did that Docker push. So whatever was pending, so all those will be pushed. So you can see that it will be pushed in chunks, because ultimately the Docker engine itself maintains that, okay, just to have the better scaling, you can see that the repository is being pushed. So internally it maintains it into segments, and all the segments are pushed, and it returns a specific string. Okay. So this is the basic thing where we have pushed it. And once it is available in ACR, after that you can utilize it. Now coming to the question that Akhilesh have said. So now we have pushed it into the registry, right? So two configurations can be there. One is EC2, what he was saying. Second one is you can say that ECS, Elastic Container Services. And third one is you can say that Fargate. Okay. So EC2 in the sense that the same way you are using your or you are using it in your local system. Let me clarify why I'm saying this. Uh, Say it be, if you are having some system which is having a public IP, right? And you have created the Docker container, and that container is live. Okay. So just imagine that if my network provider, the network provider has given me the public IP, and that public IP is available to this laptop. So in that case, it is as good as the EC2 instance, which is available on some public IP. And on this EC2 instance, the Docker system is available, means you have installed it, manually configured it, right? So everything you have done, and now the container is available, right? So the case of the image that I have recently shown you, that the screenshot I have taken corresponding to 192.168, whatever be the IP port number 9000. Okay. So just see that if it would be a public IP, so the same page you could have also loaded. Okay. So when you are doing it on EC2, it is as good as some public IP or as good as a machine having a public IP, right? So that is one thing. ECS, that is Elastic Container Services. Again, the thing is that you will be pushing the image to ECR. That image will be used by ECS, and you need to do few configurations, and then you will be able to utilize the Elastic Container Services, right? So this is the second way. Third way is the Fargate, that you can consider it as a platform as a service. Why so? Because in that case, in Fargate, you don't have to worry about scaling. You don't have to worry about what I can say. Uh, say it be when load will be increasing. So Fargate will be automatically creating the number of instances or reducing the number of instances when load is not there. While in ECS and EC2, you have to configure as how exactly the scaling will be done, right? So I'll just clarify this more, but there is one more question. Docker tag is just creating copy, renaming the existing image. Yeah. Pradeep is saying that okay, Docker tag is just creating copy. Yeah, obviously. So that uh, tag is somehow you can uniquely identify the particular image. Okay, so that is the main purpose. Uh, I hope you got the difference. So in EC2 and ECS, in both of the cases, you have to do the configuration. EC2 is totally, you can say that infrastructure as a service, but the thing is, you are having all the freedom to install Docker, to configure it, and because you are utilizing it as a infrastructure machine. While in ECS, you don't have to install Docker, or you don't have to install any component, this container services. Rather, everything will be available. You just have to do the configuration. But again, in ECS, the scalability as to what level or to how many number of instances this container will be having, right? How many containers will be put on when the load will be increasing. So all this configuration, you have to do it by yourself. So that is the basic difference between ECS and Fargate, wherein Fargate you just have to load the container, and once that is done, it will automatically increase the number of containers, decrease the number of containers based on the load. The only thing is you should be agreeing on the policy. Why? Because at the end you may not be saying that okay, the bill that is being generated is huge, okay, and because the system will be deciding as how much to scale, and automatically it will be scaling. Well, in this case, it will be as per the policy that you have decided, corresponding to the scaling that will be required. Okay. So what Akhilesh have said is very much correct in terms of deployment as well, where in EC2, when you will be using the container services, so that way you will be charged for only the EC2 instances, because rest all the things you are handling by your own. But when you will be doing it with ECS or Fargate, okay, at that time the charges will be uh, somewhat on a higher side, because they are facilitating you to deploy the Docker image, right? So that is the main difference, and the difference is huge because we have utilized it. So corresponding to EC2, when it was charging around, say it be 8,000 rupees a month, a small deployment. So when we have deployed the same on ECS and Fargate, rather ECS, not Fargate. So on ECS, it was costing us somewhat around 26K. So this was the difference. So definitely, Docker is having the advantage, but again, it you should be able to decide that how much you will be needing that particular container advantage, right? So I hope that the deployment is also clear as how exactly we'll be deploying it to various instances. Okay, so this is image. We already have seen the machine image. Yeah. So these are few commands. We already have executed most of them. So Docker build, we have created the Docker file with this. Then Docker images to list down the images, Docker RMI to delete an image. Suppose we would like to delete some image, then again we can use this command, right? And if you would like to remove all unused images, then you can use Docker image prune. And by what do we mean by unused? If there is no container available corresponding to that image. So as soon as you run this command, Docker image prune, so all of the images which are present but not a part of any of the container, not associated with any of the container tag, so those images will be removed. So in the same way, you can go through the images, these commands. Not that important as far as curriculum is being considered, but at least you should be knowing the basic command. That's why it is being included. Okay. Docker Hub. There are few commands through which you can uh, connect with the Docker Hub as well. You can push it and you can pull, say it be Docker pull, Docker push. You can use the Docker login because ultimately you need to log into the hub. And once login is being done, after that you can use the push and pull command because ultimately you are having a Docker client at your end. So that way, once you are able to log in, after that you can do the push and pull. The Kafka and Zookeeper that are being there within my Docker, right? So these are all out of this that we have pulled it through the Docker repository, right? So that way you can also give it a try. In case you find it somewhat issues, just let me know. We will have a demonstration of that as well, right? Now is Docker a one size fit for all, right? So there are few concerns as when to use Docker and when not to use Docker. So these are the reasons when we should use the Docker. So if development team changes often, right? So better to use Docker so that you will be having a intact configuration, right? So if a new person is coming, so what rather than spending a lot of time in configuration, configuring the whole thing, right? The person can utilize the Docker image and keep going with the work, right? So if this is the case, software runs in different environments. If that is the case, say it be production, pre-production test. So if that is the case, again, you should prefer Docker. Software consists of many parts. Again, uh, if you recall, then in the last session, I have told you that we have created one system and that was utilizing the logic of face recognition, right? So face recognition was there. Apart from that, there were several other logics related to healthcare, where a few of the Python libraries, many of the Python libraries were involved. And you won't believe the same team, those who were working on it, and when they were asked that, okay, you have to install or you have to configure the whole system on some another laptop as well. So they took 2 days for it. Okay, so just imagine if it would be on a container. So that would be quick. I think only if you are able to do the port mapping and the basic configuration done corresponding to the container, then it will be not a matter of hours. Even you could have done it in minutes as well. Right. So whenever some multiple parts are being there where libraries are there and ultimately a lot of library dependencies are there. So if you see the image that we have created that day, okay. So Docker build, say it be if I am creating one image, so say it be today it's 18th 04. Okay. So because right now there is nothing much in this particular file, so that's why everything goes well and all the 5 steps were quickly executed. So you can see 1 by 5 to 5 by 5. But the example that I'm quoting corresponding to the application of face recognition and lot of Python libraries when involved. So we were not able to get that image created. So while in image creation in the step 3 by 5 or in the step 2 by 5 when the libraries are being installed. So if that libraries are not available, so that again creates lot of issue, right? So it's not that easy, but ultimately if you are well versed with the system, then definitely you will be able to get rid of it. As of now, only two libraries are being there. One is the Flask and the another one is this Workzug. But when the number of libraries are huge, so again, not only in creating the Docker image, but it will create problem while configuring it on a local system as well. So that's why in such cases, the Docker is preferable, right? Need software to be scalable. If that is the case, then you can use it. Hosting may change in future. So if again this is the case, if the hosting may change, then also you can go for the Docker and test new technologies for software. This is the obvious reason. You can ignore it, but again, means if you'd like that, okay, you should understand, you should know some new concept, then you can go with the Docker. When not to use strictly, when your production or the product is in desktop application, so usually defer it from using the Docker. Software project is relatively small and simple. Our team consists of only one developer, right? Because if only one developer is there, what you have to do ultimately until and unless a testing team is different and all. So in many cases, we have a small team and one person is responsible for all the things, say it be the development, production, and testing. So in such cases, you can avoid utilizing Docker. So I hope you got a gist as in which cases you should use Docker. And not only this, the economics is again one more reason not listed over here. So if you are deploying it on cloud and you are planning to have Fargate or ECS kind of deployment where some readily available services are to be used, so you should compare it properly, then only you should go for Docker, right? So that's all. Security. So next we will start with virtualization, but we will have a 3 minutes break before that.
Hello. So, hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, Pradeep, you are having some questions related to AWS Academy. Today we will be having one demonstration. So I'll quickly have an introduction to virtualization, and I think for a basic demonstration of uh, putting up a virtual machine on AWS cloud, we'll be needing 30 minutes. So I think somewhat at 9:50 or 9:55, we will start the demonstration. Yeah, you can ask the question. You can unmute yourself or put it on chat.
Yeah. So, sir, the question is like, I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So the question is like, I have seen the mail. So I got the access for cloud
Practitioner.
practitioner course certification. So can we also get the access for solution architect exam? So
Yeah, that class is also on. Means I have also created the class because few of the students of my other course they were interested in architect as well. So I have created a class for that recently. I think 2, 3 days back only. So if you are interested for that, I'll add up you in that class as well.
yeah. So that will help, sir, because cloud practitioner. I think this is very basic level course, right? So
This is
solution
very
architect.
basic. The
Yeah.
only thing is to start with the cloud. So those who are not having any exposure to cloud, so to start with, you can utilize cloud practitioner. But if you are having a basic knowledge and you would like to go further, then in that case, you will be able to go it through that cloud solution architect.
Okay. Sure, sir. I'll ping you, sir, regarding the same. So for solution
Okay,
architect.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sir. Thank you.
okay. Yeah. So just put it on chat itself so that I'll remember and I'll add up you in the class.
Okay, sir. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, that subject is that is another subject, right?
Uh, Gautam, it's not a subject. Rather, you can consider it as a certification that you can do.
Okay,
So
okay,
two
okay.
things are there. I'll brief you because altogether I was planning to have one session for today related to the academy because that is something BITS is having tied up with AWS. So that way, whatever be the maximum benefit you people can draw, you should do it. So that is a certification course. Two possibilities are there. So whenever, just like what he has said, Pradeep has said that one is cloud practitioner. So this is very basic course that if you are not having any exposure to cloud, but still you would like to start the journey. So that way you will be having the cloud practitioner course, having altogether 10 modules. Within this 10 module, everything will be there. Say it be the infrastructure, then storage will be there, compute will be there, then networking will be there. Altogether, such 10 modules will be there. Once I log into the account, I'll detail about that as well. Second one is solution architect, right? So this
Mhm.
is somewhat advanced level where you will be architecting on specific cases, case to case basis. So they usually give the cases that, okay, this will be the scenario, how you would be deploying the cloud. Just like what Akhilesh have mentioned today, where he was deploying Docker to EC2. So that was one possibility of deployment. There can be other possibility with ECS. There can be another possibility with that of Fargate, right? So being an architect, being given a situation, you should be able to differentiate as among these three deployments, all corresponding to the container, which one is the best one. And that is all about solution architect, that you should be able to provide an architectural aspect whenever some problem statement is given. Right. So solution architect, again, it depends. If you directly would like to go for solution architect, ultimately, whatever is available in practitioner, you should know that. or you should be ready that okay, ultimately you will be going through that. As far as certifications are considered, two possibilities are there. Once you complete all the modules, uh, so modules rather they are having knowledge checks, right? So corresponding to knowledge checks and their labs. If this is done, then you will be getting AWS Academy certificate, and this is totally free. Once you complete it, means they are having corresponding to each module, they will be having knowledge checks, and then labs are there, completely guided. Today I'll be briefing you about it. So, this you can go through in your leisure time or sometime whenever you are having a time of 1 hour or so, half an hour or so. So that way you can keep on completing the labs and knowledge checks, and finally you will be getting the AWS Academy certificate. Second certification that you can go for this is global certification, right? So global certification again, that comes with a cost. But again, if you are working in a good company, but then I think that company may be bearing it in most of the cases, because they usually promote that if their employee are willing to upskill themselves. So that way you have to make the decision. But nonetheless, what I mean to say is, even if you have acquired good knowledge, then this certificate will also be worth the academy certificate that you have gone through the course, and later on you can keep on practicing the things. The best advantage with this is altogether the classes in which you have joined will last for 6 months on a self-paced manner. Means even if your this CISS course will be completed, after that also if you ping me or connect me, then in that case I will be responding whatever way I can. So 6 months, say it be if it is April, then ultimately you will be having up to October. So till October you will be having this course. So I think you can be motivated enough so that at least one of these courses can be completed in 6 months. Because again, you know that 10 modules are there, and I think only if you spend 20 hours in total, being an IT guy, if you spend 20 hours in total, I think you can get this certificate. And rest in the last session also I have given example. Gautam have asked the question that it's all a matter of time. So not to worry, cloud practitioner, it is really simple. My niece, who is in third year, and she got this global certification after the preparation of 4 to 6 days only. Right. So that way, but that were dedicated 4 to 6 days. So accordingly, you can plan, right? So we will go through it. But we will have a foundation of virtualization, and then we will
Okay.
start with
Okay.
the experimentation. Okay. Yes. Pradeep, any other question?
Yeah, so sir, after the course will have to be after the exam, so we'll get the certification from AWS Academy, or it will be a global certificate. So
No,
for global certificate,
after, look, two things are there. Once you complete all the knowledge checks and lab, you will be getting AWS Academy certificate automatically without any examination also. These knowledge checks again, they are repetitive in nature, means you can attempt it any number of times. If you are not scoring 70% minimum, you can re-attempt it again and again. Labs, again, whatever be the instructions are given, you just have to follow those instructions as is to complete the labs. And these are the labs in real AWS environment. It's not a simulated AWS environment. These are in real AWS environment. So once it is done, the certificate from AWS Academy and one badge. Usually, if you have seen any other certification, so Credly is the organization which usually controls the badge. So this badge will be available that can be verified and linked to your LinkedIn profile. That okay, you have secured this badge, and anybody who would like to verify it can just verify through a single click. Credly will be the organization to verify it. At a later stage, if you are willing that okay, you should have a global certification, then you can schedule the examination and go for it. After scheduling, you can appear the examination, and then a certificate will be issued.
Okay, so will we get some coupon or concession regarding the for global certification?
Yeah,
Because
being an AWS Academy member through AWS Skill Builder, 50% discount coupon will be available. So for this cloud practitioner, it is $100. So
Sir,
altogether, 100
sir,
plus GST.
what about
Yeah.
for sir, what
Yes,
about
Jyoti.
for AWS professional courses certification? Because I did solution architect, so I just want to explore more.
So again,
AWS
for that
professional.
as well, 50% will be available through the academy. That I'll guide you
Okay,
as how
okay.
exactly to go through. So you would like to go for a developer one or DevOps?
Sir,
Which
DevOps.
professional certification?
DevOps with security. Yes, DevOps, Dev
DevOps and
security ops. Yeah,
security.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so again, 50% will be available. I'll guide you how exactly to get it.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. So, mm, yeah, Pradeep, any other question?
no, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. We will be going through virtualization, right? So if we see operating system, then definitely we are having the main entity as hardware. Okay, but somehow whenever we have to go through or utilizing the hardware, ultimately we will be needing an operating system for that. Okay, so that ultimately the operating system is handling the security, device management, file management. So it is uh, intermediating the things, right? So if you see this screen, then there is something common into it. Okay, so say it be Java virtual machine, say it be virtual desktop infrastructure, or say it be the virtual memory, right? In all of these cases, one thing common is obviously the keyword virtual. Okay, so the thing is ultimately uh, many times we have to deal with the cases or the configurations which are not what they are pretending to be, right? And whenever such is the case, then we will be calling them as virtual. Say it be virtual memory. Ultimately, the memory that is being drawn is from hard disk, but it is pretending that okay, it is from the RAM or it is part of RAM, and that's why means definitely there is some physical appearance corresponding to the memory that is being utilized, but the only thing is it is not exactly the RAM memory that it is pretending to be, and that's why we are calling it as virtual memory. Then Java virtual machine, again, the same thing that, okay, when you are having some dot class file and correspondingly you are executing it on any of the platforms, say it be once the dot class file is available, after that you can run it on Linux, you can run it on Windows, you can run it on Mac, irrespective of the operating system, because it is giving you an impression that, okay, you only need that virtual machine corresponding to the operating system, say it be Mac or this Unix, Linux, and all. And that way, it is giving you an impression that okay, the same file, same dot class file can be executed on any of the operating system. So that way, we are calling it as virtual machine. On the other hand, a virtual desktop infrastructure, all these terminals. Ultimately, this is the server, and this server is having the operating system. All these terminals are only running some terminal softwares, not exactly the operating system. And still on the screen, they are able to have a look of the Windows or any kind of Linux operating system. So what I mean to say is that, say it be Windows Server is installed over here, or specifically Windows is installed, and still these dumb terminals, these thin terminals may be having their own desktop. Say it be user one is sitting over here, so he may be logged in and having an impression that okay, this machine is running a desktop, but ultimately the whole processing has been done at the server end. Definitely, there is a physical entity behind it, but why we are calling it as virtual? Because as of now, the system is pretending that this configuration is having the whole desktop uh, application, or what we can say the operating system, but ultimately the operating system is at a single place. This may be having only the CAL licenses, corresponding client licenses corresponding to the access of the system, right? So that's why it is called as virtual. Okay. So whenever we are dealing with virtualization, so we will be dealing, or we will be talking about the level of abstraction and the degree of freedom. Okay. So we will see further what do we mean by level of abstraction and degree of freedom. But if we say to virtualization, ISA virtualization, and finally what I can say, the desktop virtualization. So there can be several levels of virtualization in between ISA virtualization and desktop virtualization. Okay. But the thing is, ultimately, it all will depend on the level of abstraction we are carrying out, means what exactly we are abstracting, whether we are abstracting the instruction set architecture, whether we are abstracting the hardware, whether we are abstracting on the operating system, right? You have gone through the concepts of abstraction in C, C++, and there you know that the abstraction totally depends on the level of the what we can say the user. Okay, so if I'm the best example that we usually have is car. So car will be having different level of abstraction with reference to different users. It's all about the perspective of the user. What is the perspective of your user? Say it be if a sales guy is there, then he will be having a different perspective. A mechanic is there, then he will be having different perspective. Manufacturer is there, then he will be having different perspective. Driver is there, he will be having different perspective, and so on. Same object having different perspective. In the same way, in terms of virtualization, when we will be having different level of virtualization by having the different level of abstraction towards the whole computing system. So either I can abstract at the level of ISA only, and above I can keep it open, or I can virtualize it at the OS level, say it be the container. So container is one basic example corresponding to the OS level virtualization. There are few concepts within Docker that are still remaining, but we will go through it. So this is the example, right? So virtualization, the basic definition, you can just have a look. Uh, Technique allows you to share a single physical instance of an application or resource among multiple organizations. So say it be if I am having this system with 20 cores and 32 GB of RAM and 1 TB of HDD or SSD. So that way I can have few more systems running in parallel through the power of virtualization, where each of them may be having 4 cores, say it be 4 GB, and say it be 200 GB of storage. Same is the case over here. Same is the case over here. This may be running Windows. This may be running Linux, Red Hat. This may be running Ubuntu, right? So this is one possibility. Or on the other hand, suppose I'm having n number of systems, say it be 10 cores each, and say it be 16 GB of memory. So that way I may be creating a pool again through virtualization. So many of you might be knowing it all, but I think those who are not ever encountered virtualization, so for that, for those people, I have to explain it, right? So that way I can create a pool so that 4 systems altogether there will be 40 cores and 64 GB of memory. Then we can create systems above this through the pool again with the power of virtualization. Okay. So, creation of virtual version of computing resource, it can be of hardware, it can be of operating system, server, storage. How this all will be governed with the level of abstraction. This is somewhat core logic that you should know. How you are looking at the system, with what abstraction you are looking at the system will be deciding on the level of virtualization that you are going through. Okay. So why? We will be virtualizing the things because the resource capability are being increased nowadays. Earlier, it was the case that okay, a single user's requirement were not being sufficed through the virtualization, through the single system. So that way, it was not the case. But again, just imagine the freedom that virtualization is giving us. The data center unit that we have gone through, you might have realized the power of virtualization over there. Not only that, the variation that we can have with the virtualization is huge. So, this may be a 64-bit system, and if you'd like to run Windows 98 on 64-bit system, in a normal case, it won't be possible, right? The example, like many of the government softwares, even today, they run on 32-bit system. And I'm afraid that you will ever be finding any 32-bit system running as of now because since last 15 years, the manufacturing of 32-bit systems is not there. So how exactly you will be running those 32-bit systems? Ultimately, through the power of virtualization, where you will be virtualizing at the level of hardware uh, architecture, where on a 64-bit machine you will be running a 32-bit operating system, that is Windows 98. Okay, so that is one thing. And another thing is the better utilization of resources, where you are creating a pool, and out of that pool you are creating the VMs as and when needed, as and when what exactly is the configuration, based on that configuration. Otherwise, say it be if a user is asking for, say it be 40 GB of, or you can say 48 GB of RAM. Some another user may be asking 32 GB of RAM. So who exactly you will be creating on a physical note? That won't be possible. Rather, if you are able to create a pool and if you are able to virtualize it as per the user's requirement, so this is the benefit that we are getting out of virtualization. So improve IT throughput and caused by using physical resources as a pool from which virtual resources can be allocated, right? If Now the question arises is if we are having some physical entity every time when we are having some resources down the line, then why we are calling it as virtualization? Because virtualization gives an impression that okay, things are virtual, not uh, physically present. Okay, but that is not the case. It is called as virtualization because it is not what it is pretending to be, right? So this you have to mug up in the concept of virtualization because we will be dealing with n number of virtualizations right from ISA to desktop. So that way you should be clear that okay, the level of abstraction along with that it is not what it is pretending to be, and that's why we are calling it as a virtual resource and not for the reason that it is not available physically. Definitely down the line there will be something until and unless the whole system is virtual. We'll talk about that. But in most of the cases down the line, there will be something. But because it is not of the same shape or because it is not of the same configuration which it is pretending to be, and that's why we are calling it as virtual. Okay, so this will be the basic interface for you. You can use the student login. And I'll be, because I don't have that student access, I will be logging it through this educator login. So those who have gone through the basic certifications, like Jyoti has already gone through the architect one, so you may not be finding it very useful, but still means at least you can go through it if you haven't gone through this AWS Academy interface. So that at least you can add up other courses, right? So I will say if I'm having the developer or DevOps course as well, so I'll create a class, then you can be part of that particular class. Okay, so once at the course, you can go to this module section. I hope you are able to see this. So, module sections, and within this, you will be having a look that overall 10 modules will be there in the foundation one. So, one is the cloud basic concepts will be there, and the best part is you will be having a videos as well, and the presentation corresponding to this as well. And if you need, I will be briefing you the gist corresponding to each and every module. But the first one, you can see that it is covering the basic cloud concept. So in general, nothing to deal with AWS. The basic cloud concept will be there as what exactly is cloud computing, the advantages. And finally, in section 3 and 4, they will be having the basic introduction. Module 2 will be on cloud economics, because in many times I communicated you that cloud is not always the cheaper solution. So you should be able to make a decision. So that you will be able to do only if you know the economics and billing part. Then you are having the global infrastructure view and all that. So you can go through all those modules. The main part is after every module, you are having this module 5 as a knowledge check. Sorry, knowledge check. You can go through these questions. You can go through the laboratories. Few of the laboratories are there. Once all done, you will be having a final assessment like this, and later on the certification. So this claim your badge will be enabled once you will be completing all this. So here you can claim the badge, and the basic AWS Academy certificate will be there. The only thing that you will be needing is some consistent efforts. So first we'll go through lab. Okay. Corresponding to every lab, specific instructions are available. Step by step instructions are available. You don't have to worry in any case. Right. So this is for the first time. That's why it is asking for so much of consent. Okay. And whenever you have to start the lab, you can do so by at the top of your screen, top right. So you can see that, okay, start lab. I have clicked on start lab. Okay. So this way the lab will be started. You can see that this AWS icon, earlier it was red, now it is yellow. It will turn out green as soon as the lab will be ready. Quickly, we will go through what exactly we will be doing. Just have a look. We will be launching a web server with termination protection enabled. We will be later on monitoring it, modifying the security group so that HTTP access can be enabled. By default, the system that will be up, the virtual machine that will be up, will not be having access to any of the protocol or port. But because we are configuring web server, that's why we need to enable it for the HTTP port, sorry, HTTP protocol. Okay, then we can resize the instance. Say it be, we can say that earlier it was 20 GB. We can quickly make it 40 GB of space and so on. Now we will do rest of the experimentation there, but primarily we will be launching the web server. And for launching the web server, mainly we will be selecting on some kind of image. Okay, the way we just have a mapping with the local system. As soon as you purchase a local system, what you usually do, say it be if some person, hardware person is being there. So first of all, you will be peculiar about your hardware part as what exactly will be the configuration. Then OS is usually loaded. So this image, that AMI image is corresponding to that OS that will be loaded, and apparently if some other softwares are to be loaded, then we can do so. So we will be selecting the Amazon machine image. Just like the Docker hub that we have seen, in the same way we are having a repository for all the softwares or the operating system corresponding to the Amazon machine image. Then we'll be selecting the instance type. Instance type in the sense the hardware part, that how many cores will be there, the RAM and the basic storage that will be available within the system. Key pair login, this will be there for the security. Say it be at a later stage if you would like to do a SSH login to the system. So you will be needing this key to do the SSH login. Then we will be doing some networking settings because the system may be part of some existing system. Say it be if you have deployed 4 virtual machines already, and at a later stage, if you would like to make a new virtual machine part of the same network. So the basic settings will be required where you will be making the system as part of the same network by appropriately setting the IP address and all. And finally, we will be doing the advanced setting where we will be putting the user data in the sense that in a normal machine image, only the operating system will be installed. But what we wish is, along with operating system, the basic Apache server should also be installed. It should be started, enabled and started, and one basic file hello from web server to display this particular file should be available to the Apache web server. So now it is green. So I'll be clicking on it. So quickly we will follow the instructions. So this is known as management console that I told you today's session only. That management console in the sense that if you are good enough to use the UI part, then you can use management console. Otherwise, you can use AWS CLI as well, right? So I have clicked on EC2, that is the Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay. Then launch instances. That okay. We will be launching instance. The only thing is here you have to follow as is whatever be mentioned because they usually track what you are doing and then accordingly grade your labs as well. Okay. So I may be skipping few of the things, but you just stick as is so that you will be scoring full marks out of I think 25 they usually grade it. So Amazon Linux 2023 image. So I have named it web server. So Amazon Linux 2023, it's already selected. T3. So instance that we have to select is t2.micro. Keep the default t2.micro selected. Here default is t3.micro. So I'll continue with this. I'll not make any change. T2.micro. It is available, but it is not enabling that free tier eligible. So that's why I'm leaving it as is. Keep here. In keep here, it is being instructed to choose the VOC key. So I'm selecting that VOC key. Okay. In networking, choose edit. So it is being instructing that okay, we have to choose on edit. Next instruction is I have to select the lab VPC. So here in the virtual private cloud, I will be selecting the lab VPC. You can see that lab VPC, this is the lab VPC. Within subnets, it is being instructed to keep the default subnet that is public subnet 1 on, right? So that right now we are following is as is. We will discuss as what exactly is going on. So public subnet, the default subnet is 2. But in instruction, it is being given that we need to select public subnet 1. Okay. So So a security group needs to be created. So create a security group. So we are naming it as web server security group, right? And description, you can put it anything, not an issue, right? And it is instructed that inbound security rules we have to remove. Under inbound security rules, remove this rule. Okay. Next, storage, I am leaving it as it. In advance, we have to enable the termination protection. So termination protection enable. So this is the termination protection. I am enabling it. So that is enabled. Now down the line within user data, I'll be copying and pasting this. It's simple. You can just go through the code as well. Uh, you can see that first we are installing HTTPD, that is Apache server. We are enabling it, then starting it, and this is the normal HTML file. If you see the code, this is a normal HTML file that is being given as an input to a file index.html within slash var slash www slash html folder. So I can change this hello from CISS class. Right. So this is just for the reason that okay, OS will be installed, and along with OS, these basic commands will also be executed after the installation of OS. So once this is done, you can click on launch instance. Right. You can see that the VM is being created. If I click on this, then you can see that public IP is being there 54 that 235.10.216. Because web server is already installed, we will just give it a try. But because HTTP port is not enabled yet, so the page will not be loaded. Okay. You can see that public IP is available, private IP is also available. We will go through the reason as why public and private both IPs are there. So you can see the various other details, the AMI ID, which Amazon machine image is being used, the storage. You can talk in terms of storage, say it be 8 GB of storage is there. Networking, which VPC, lab VPC, you should know that which particular virtual private cloud this particular system is part of. So overall, now the instance is being created, and you can see that we have named as web server. And here you need to check that whether right now you can see that it is coming as initializing. Okay. Once everything is being done, means it usually checks for two things. One is the instance level check, in the sense that the instance that is being created. So the virtual machine that is being created, it will check for its status as how exactly it is there, whether it is intact or not, or creating any issue. And the system level check will also be there, in the sense that the system will be tested that whether the inclusion of this system will at all affecting the overall system or not. So we can keep on refreshing it and see that whether the system is up or not. So this is a lab system, so that's why it is taking this much of time. But if it would be on a paid system or paid account, so it will not create this much of, it will not require this much of time. Okay, so we need to wait till this is there. But we will just have a look. So 54, it's not working. Now we can go to the security group setting. So in this left pan, you can go to security group setting. And whenever working with the management console, it's best practice to open it in a new tab. because later on, whenever you have to come to instances, again you have to go over there. So better to open it in a new tab so that you can do the actions and get back to the other page quickly. So web server security group was the group. So I have chosen it. I hope you got an idea. So this is the web server security group because we have named it. Other VPCs are also, other security groups are also there. We opened it. Inbound rule, because we have to define some inbound rule corresponding to this. You can, so I am adding up a rule, that is we should allow HTTP traffic anywhere having IPv4 address, right? So HTTP traffic is allowed from anywhere, and I'm saving the rule. So now this inbound rule is being defined that, okay, within security group, when inbound rule is defined where HTTP traffic will be allowed through TCP on port number 80, right? We will see whether the server is running now. Yeah. So you can see that instance level check, ABS level check, and system check, all checks are passed. Now the system is available. And okay, okay, this protocol is HTTPS, but we have allowed it for HTTP, right? So uh, you can see that the web server that we have created on Amazon network, and it's so simple, means even you can give it a try n number of times because it is AWS lab, Academy lab. So I'm putting up the IP. You can test it at your end as well because this is a public IP. It will work for you as well. The only thing is just make it sure that you are using it with HTTP rather than HTTPS, right? Yeah, Pradeep have created the link. So directly you can click on it and you can see that it is being loaded, right? So this are the basic steps. So this way you will be having a realization as how exactly virtual machines are being created. Now just see the things that are happening at the back end. Ultimately, AWS is having a data center, having a pool of resources. You requested that, okay, some T3 dot micro resource should be available. Okay, so what you did is you requested for the resource T3 dot micro. So whatever be the number of cores corresponding to that, the RAM corresponding to that, all those will be. So you can see that virtual CPUs, two virtual CPUs will be there corresponding to this, and you can check the RAM as well. Web server. You can have the RAM information as well as what exactly is the RAM. So out of that pool, they have created it. We made it part of a virtual private cloud so that in case other systems are also there, then they will be having it and having a public access as well, so that a public IP as well, so that you can check it from anywhere from the world. Private IP is again required because whenever internal communication is required, it's better to do it through private IP rather than a public IP, because in public IP, it will traverse through the whole internet. While in case of private IP, it will be traversing through the local system or the local network that is being created within the AWS. So a lot of things needs to be talked about, but from CIS's perspective, a few of the modules will be useful to experiment on, just like one we have done right now. Apart from that, there is one module related to auto scaling and monitoring. So how exactly auto scaling and load balancing is being done, that we can get it checked with the lab which is being defined, lab 6, where we'll be able to auto scale and load balance the architecture. So that way it will be good for us. Cloud architecture is one more module that will link with our curriculum. And apart from that, compute is one that we have already gone through. And the overall infrastructure, the AWS global infrastructure, will be the one useful, right? So it's a good opportunity. Those who have not been into cloud till now, but there is an earnest need that people should know basics, at least basics about the cloud. On a gentleman basis, what you can do is once your experimentation is over, just remember to end the lab. Don't keep it as is. Right. So remember to end the lab so that the resources can be released. Okay. And this you can do n number of times. Okay. So that's all for today. But again, I request that those who have never gone into the systems of cloud, so you can do the experimentation and at least go for the academy certificate. Yes, Pradeep. Pradeep, you have raised your hand. Yeah, Akhilesh, you can request. Feel free. Means even if after the CISS course, because I am having few of the candidates in my current architects lab, those I am not at all connected with, but they have requested and I have included them within the class. So feel free. Anytime you can connect for any of the other courses. I'll see that whether the DevOps is also available. Uh, AWS Academy Cloud Developing is available and Operations is available separately. I'll check for the DevOps as well. Anything else?
Sir, can you one more time show from where we can open these course materials? I mean,
Yeah, just a minute. I'm sharing the screen. Right, so after login, you will be landed somewhere into the course where you have to click on the course. So once you click on the
no, no,
course,
I mean, this portal is different, sir, right? What we have in
yeah,
our
yeah, this is different.
labs.
This is
Oh, okay, okay.
LMS
Mhm.
from AWS only.
AWS. So URL is this. Okay, AWS Academy dot.
So basically, means even I haven't stored the URL. They used to change it many times. So what
Okay.
I used to do is
Yeah.
AWS instructor login. So you just
Okay.
have to type this AWS instructor login. There you will be finding this.
Yeah.
So I'll just copy this, paste it on chat. So you can use this link as well. So here you can do the student login. Put your username and password that you have set while creating the AWS Academy account.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So once you log in, you will be landing up in some screen where you will be because only one course is there. So you can click on that course. Then you can go to modules, right? And within modules, you can keep on going one after the other. So right
Okay.
now, what
Nice.
I have experimented is at module 6, that is compute.
Mhm. Okay.
And the lab that we have done is this one, lab 3, that is introduction to Amazon EC2, that is the basic compute instance.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Sir, the course or the module design was sufficient for the global certification?
Yeah, it is sufficient. But once you go through it, I can share the dumps as well for assured success, right? But at least
Okay.
honestly go through the course, then definitely dumps are available corresponding to the various courses.
Yeah, yes, sir. So I
Yeah.
for you from the Udemy, I've tried for the Stephen Marek course, sir, for the solution
Yeah,
architect.
that is the best one. Means Stephen Marek, he is the most popular guy as far as AWS certifications are considered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sir. Yes,
That
sir.
itself will be sufficient.
Yeah, I've pinged you, sir, regarding the solution
Yeah,
architect course.
definitely, definitely. Anything else? Okay. In that case, I'm ending up the call. But again, the request is just give it a try. Those who are not at all encountered any cloud environment, it will be really interesting and will be adding up to your skills as well. Okay. Thank you.